Hello to all of you. Welcome to Logical-NDE, where we discuss accounts of people's near-death experiences that they have shared with us. If this is your first time here, we appreciate you stopping by. Our videos are aimed towards individuals with inquisitive minds who are interested in learning about the hereafter. In case you truly relish stories like these, please help us out by subscribing to our channel, liking, and sharing our video so that you can keep up with our latest entries like this one. And now, you might like to relax and become comfortable as we dig into the descriptions of the event of Ms. Sofia, a 50-year-old woman visiting heaven in a near-death experience. Let's get right into it. I had just turned 50 years old when I died suddenly. My entire life was irreversibly altered by what I went through at that very moment. It was surreal. Everything seemed too unbelievable to be true. I had just gotten home from work and was on my way to do my laundry, so it started off like any other day in San Francisco for me. A sharp pang pierced my chest as I entered the bathroom. I was on my knees and writhing in agony in a matter of minutes. I was aware that I desperately needed assistance, and unfortunately for me, nobody was at home. I tried to get up off the floor so I could move and grab my phone from my bed with what little strength I could muster, but it felt impossible. The pain started growing so bad that I accepted death to be near. I still get goosebumps thinking about it, since it is one of those moments that is deeply etched in my memory. I eventually felt like the pain started to ease after what felt like an eternity. I had some freedom of movement. I began shifting to my feet, and that is when the second round of anguish invaded my body. This was so horrible that I lost myself. I fell unconscious immediately, though I'm not clear precisely when it happened. I just know there was a lot of pain that took away life from me. I felt myself floating through the air when I opened my eyes the following second. I began to move towards the sky with incredible speed and found myself surrounded by many folds of clouds. I made an effort to stop, but I was being pushed against gravity by a powerful force, sending me skyward. There was nothing I could do at the time, even though I wanted it to stop. I let go and let the air carry me, until I could smell various lovely scents filling the air all around me. Fresh flowers and gentle rain were in the air. I was trying to consider where I had come from and how the scene had completely changed from my house to the skies when it hit me. I was dead. I was being actually carried through the horizons to the place where I would live probably forever. When that struck, all hell broke loose. I was terrified of going to hell. I began to reflect on all the wrongdoings I had done during my life. I wasn't emotionally prepared to be cast into the fires of hell. It was a petrifying feeling everywhere throughout. My mind dreaded every thought that came next. I needed someone to come and drag me out of this place. It made me sick to think I had wasted an entire life of mine. It was a sickening thought that I couldn't pull my head out of as much as I tried. Suddenly, the speed at which I was being dragged upwards increased. I felt like my time had come. The next time I opened my eyes, I found myself lying on soft grass. I looked around and behold, I was surrounded by the most beautiful scenic beauty I had ever witnessed on earth. I had woken beside a river. Cool water streamed by, swaying gently around the branches of a fallen tree trunk. A willow tree, much like the one I used to sit under with my father and grandmother when I was a small girl, was behind me. Although it was still early in the morning, a kingfisher was perched across the street, its blue feathers shining in what appeared to be summer light. I looked up to try to see the sun, but there wasn't any. I dipped my hand into the water and pulled it out while observing the drips as they formed ever larger rings as they hit the surface. Everything was very bright. I raised my damp fingers to the air. There was a gentle breeze. Before I witnessed my father and grandma yelling along the river, walk holding baskets full of recently picked flowers, I briefly caught sight of a dragonfly. I exhaled, heaven, this has to be heaven. I was surrounded by the most beautiful scenes. I realized I had been saved from hell and was overjoyed to see my father and my grandmother walking towards. I began to weep like a little child as my grandmother reached for me and wrapped me in her arms. It definitely was heaven. In contrast to the earth of my dreams, the air there seemed to be fresher. My grandma, who always had the most gorgeous smiles pasted on her face, gently fluffed my hair and said, "One day you will come here and never leave." One day shortly, my father, who exuded all the warmth on earth, caught my attention once I peered into her dreamy eyes. My dad said, "You've got to leave right now, but you'll be back, I promise," and with that, they both vanished. I turned to face the spellbinding visuals that had me in utter awe. I didn't want to leave this spot at all. It emanated the warm and inviting feelings of a home that I had never experienced. I was aware that this was the location that my soul had been seeking for the past 50 years of my life. I was able to see every variation of colors there as I looked around. The location's pastels were very alluring. The blooms resembled a dancing rainbow, as if music and light had discovered a brand new way to live in harmony. I was in the heavens and nothing else mattered to me. Right at the moment where I started grasping the reality of me being a part of heavens, my eyes fluttered open. I was on the cold bathroom floor, laying where I had collapsed earlier. It took me a long minute to study my whereabouts and finally realize what had happened to me. I was cold on the floor. I checked the clock. I had been out for a whole 30 minutes. It felt unreal to even think about it. Even though it happened on a normal date for me, this event turned out to be a huge turning point of my life. I had forever been super close to my grandmother and my father, and seeing them together in the heavens put me to ease. Now I knew I had something to look forward to, something to live well for. This incident gave me an insight to the afterlife and ignited a new fire of hope inside me. It renewed my purpose of living and brought a lot of patience in me. It also made me realize how temporary this life is and how within the blink of an eye we can be snatched of it. It made me a changed person that I am today and still continues to live in my head till date, even 5 years after the incident took place in my life. That was all from Mrs. Sofia's experience. I hope that you enjoyed today's episode. If you have any thoughts regarding Mrs. Sofia's visit to heaven, make sure to leave a comment down below. Remember to be respectful. In case you really liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and spread it among friends who share the same interest of knowing about the afterlife experiences as you. Till the next time, stay blessed.